All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I know there's a lot of you out there tonight here for our board meeting, and some are standing outside. So I'd like to welcome everyone to our monthly board meeting for May. And if everyone at this time, please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, we are down to approving our agenda.
So moved.
And I have actually a motion. I'm going to make a motion to amend our agenda by removing action item D. So I have a motion to remove action item D.
So moved.
I have a second by Ms. Yonts. All in favor of removing action item D, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Is this change order? Is that supposed to be separate?
It's all the same.
That's all. Okay, never mind. All right. Are there any other additions or changes to the agenda tonight? If not, I will need a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Motion.
Have a motion. All in favor of approving the amended agenda, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Move down now to our favorite part, which is our recognition. Miss Carla.
Well, good evening, you board members and all you many guests out there. We have a variety of recognitions to present to you all this evening. I want to begin with some outstanding teachers. Madisonville Community College, along with Murray State University, have named once again Excellence in Teaching Award recipients for 2025. The purpose of this award is to recognize quality teaching in schools and to strengthen the field of education. 3 individuals from our district were nominated and named last month. They enjoyed a special ceremony at MCC while we were having our April board meeting, so that's why we get to recognize them this evening. So as I call your name, I'm going to ask that each one come up. I have a framed certificate for you, and Miss Orr, would you mind to come and have a picture? So we're going to begin with our elementary level, and again, it comes from Muhlenberg South Elementary, Miss Skylar McCarrier. Thank you. At our middle school level, we have Miss Keisha Blake.
Congratulations, Keisha.
Yes.
And then at our high school level, we have Miss Paula Raker. Thank you.
Congratulations, Paula.
Ladies, congratulations for such a distinguished award. Next, I have quite a treat for you. Kind of gave it away there with the setup, but as you know, we partner with the Muhlenberg County 4-H in a variety of ways, including 4-H demonstrations for all 4th through 6th graders. There were several students across the district who chose to compete in the county demonstration on May the 8th. Among those who competed was 4th grader Calla Randall. She presented how to make homemade lip balm, and she placed first not only in the county but also at the regional competition. And she's going to now advance to the state level in July along with Carson Waddell, Amelia Vanderkroot, Teelan Vanderkroot, I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, Charles Stanley, Abby Cotton, Madeline Fields, and Allison Newman. So I'm going to invite Calla to come up and she's going to give us her demonstration so you can just be reminded what these kiddos have to go through, and she gets to do it in front of an entire room of people. So go Calla. I'm going to take lots of pictures.
Who here loves lip balm? Because I know I do. And the best part is, I know how to make my own because I'm the bomb.
You're Randall, that's why you're the bomb.
My name is Calla Randall, and today I'm going to show you how to make your very own homemade lip balm. First, let's start with some of the ingredients. You'll need beeswax pellets, coconut oil, cocoa butter, and make sure it's the raw cocoa butter and not the lotion kind. Castor oil. My family likes to keep these ingredients organic because they're much more healthier and better for your body. Lastly, we have essential oils. There are lots of scents you could choose, such as tea tree, wintergreen, lemongrass, and peppermint. I'll decide mine later. Some other things we'll need will be a microwave-safe dish, a teaspoon, a stirring utensil, an eyedropper or phone. I find an eyedropper easier to see when you're getting close to the top. And of course, empty chapstick tubes. Now that we have everything we need, let's get chapsticking. First, we need to grab our microwave-safe dish and teaspoon. And we need 2 teaspoons of beeswax pellets. Did you know that beeswax pellets is safe to eat? Even though it wouldn't provide many nutrients for your body, it's completely non-toxic. Next up is coconut oil. We need 2 teaspoons of this. Coconut oil is used in my house for everything. It's somehow a chef, dentist, and skincare expert. You want to keep a hand towel handy because sometimes it is hard to get off the spoon. So, just to keep your hands clean. Alright. Next up is cocoa butter. We need 1 teaspoon of this. This stuff is really kind of hard, but soothing. So we need 1 teaspoon of that. That is why I think it's used in lots of chapstick and lotions. Next up is castor oil. Did you know castor oil has been around for thousands of years? It's been used in everything, from medicines to makeup. We'll need 1 teaspoon of this. In the microwave now. It would normally take about 2 to 3 minutes, and I would check it and stir it every 30 seconds, and like I said, give it a little stir, and then 2 to 3 minutes is what worked for me, but depending on your microwave, you may need to keep it in longer. So before we put that in, let's give it a little stir. Alright. Let's go ahead and pop this in. We just popped it into our magic microwave. Clearly this is not a real microwave, but let's give it some time and see what happens. Alright, while that's magically melting, we are going to go ahead and set up our chapstick tubes to save time in a possible mess. I chose to use these chapstick tubes, but there are many others you can choose, such as the middle tins or the little jars, whichever you prefer. Next up, we're going to be using the eyedropper, so we can put our mixture into the tubes. We're going to go ahead and check on that mixture. Give it a little stir. I would give it a few more seconds so we can check on the mixture. Alright, let's choose our essential oils. Like I said, there are many different essential oils you could use, but today I think I'm going to be using peppermint. Okay, now let's go ahead and pour this out. Wow, now that's a little stage magic for us. You're going to take our eyedropper funnel and slowly get it into the tubes. Like I said, this part can be kind of messy. You will want to fill it up just above the top and make like kind of a bubble. Okay. Once we have that done, I would normally wait 1 to 2 hours for this to fully harden and be ready to use. Since we don't have 1 to 2 hours to wait, I went ahead and made the final product for you guys to see. If you follow these instructions correctly, you will get your perfect homemade lip balm. Thank you for watching my demonstration, and if your lips aren't excited by now, I've been doing something wrong.
It took a lot of guts to stand in front of all of these people, and we would like to present to you just a certificate of appreciation for coming tonight. If you ever want to judge one of those C. McKenzie, she'll hook you up next year. They're so much fun. So the final recognition that I have this evening, we have a special guest with us that's going to bring this presentation. I'm going to invite Miss April Devine to come up, and she has a presentation.
Hello, thank you all for having me here this evening. Good evening, my name is April Devine. I'm the president-elect for the Kentucky Association of School Administrators. On behalf of KASA, I'm pleased to announce that Miss Kim Latham, Personnel Assistant for Muhlenberg County Schools, has been named the 2025 KASA Office Professional Award recipient. This prestigious annual award honors a school or district office professional who demonstrates unwavering commitment, resourcefulness, and professionalism while maintaining a positive attitude. It is considered one of the highest honors for office professionals in education across Kentucky. Described as the pulse of the office, Ms. Latham brings energy, precision, and professionalism to her role each day. Her ability to streamline communication between employees, principals, and central office departments ensures smooth operations and a supportive environment for everyone. I'm honored to present Ms. Latham with a $500 monetary gift and a cherry clock with intricate gears symbolizing her critical role in keeping the leadership team and school running smoothly. Congratulations, Ms. Latham. Ms. Latham, I believe we have some special guests on the screen. If people can-
that finally concludes my recognitions. If you are just recognized, if you'll join me out in the hallway, that's your easy way of getting out of here, and I'm going to take some more pictures. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, before you start, I think Ms. Shantz has something she wants to add to our recognitions.
Yeah. I just want to take the opportunity to tell all the principals and some of the school personnel that are here, what a great job the students are doing in their defense of learning. I have been, as everybody knows, I was a former high school guidance counselor, and when you've been that, you get to be on everybody's scholarship committee. So I've been on scholarship committees for years, and this year I have read some of the absolute best scholarship applications ever, and I really attribute it to the job you all doing with the defense of learning and the students, and I think it is just an excellent program that you're doing. And anyway, but I just wanted to say that, and I want you principals to go back and relay it to your personnel, what a great thing it is that you're doing, because everything is, I think it makes sense to them why they need to be in, clubs, why their education is important and everything. And so today I had the opportunity to be at the high school. I've done 5th grade at South Elementary, the middle school, and at the high school. And I have seen some excellent presentations, and I want to thank you all for the great job you're doing.
Can we not give props to Mackenzie and Carla for tearing that down that
Yes,
quick?
they did a great job.
That was, impressive.
All right, so we're down now to our treasurer's report. Mr. Blitzinger.
All right, thank you, Chairman Rager. Board members, these are the financials as of April 30th, 2025. Well, that did not work. Okay, revenues. This month, there was $3,457,741.93. This is down $240,000 from the last month and down $77,000 from the same period of last year. SEEK is down $42,000. I think you'll probably see that for the next, till the remainder of the year for the SEEK reduction. Just to kind of brief you on how that works is, they do a tentative SEEK calculation, and then they do a final SEEK calculation towards the end of the year, and it'll either adjust it up or down depending upon our ADA. So that's down 42,000. Federal is up 70. State is down 57. Taxes are down 24. Other is down 90. Food service is up 117,000, and daycare remains unchanged. On the expenditure side, accounts payable is up approximately $640,000 when compared to the same period of last year. This is $305,000 in general fund, $222,000 in construction, and $170,000 in food service. The significant bills in April were Mass Mutual. I just wanted to clarify something. There was a check written to Mass Mutual, which was the investment side. So it's really, it's an expense right now, but you'll see it on the balance sheet in investments once when we clear that check, and it gets added to that. So if we had switched it over to the balance sheet right away, it would have overstated finances, so I didn't want to do that. So. With that said, so that was 2.198 million. There was a Trafera, which were Chromebooks, was 215,000. Manning Brothers food equipment was $129,712. That was the washroom at the middle school. And then CNC contracting of $108,365. Payroll is $3,154,878.54. That is up $255,000 versus April of 24. So this paraprofessionals were paid and salary. So that's a mix of those. Sorry. Further breakdown, Fixed and mixed expenses were 2.9 million, variable expenses of about 840,000, and utility expenses of $87,000. Are there any questions?
Any questions on the treasurer's report? If not, I'll need a motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Porter, second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of approving the treasurer's report, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Move down to payment of bills and salaries.
Thank you again, Chair Rader. This May, I bring you $416,999.69 in board bills. General fund is $216,000. Fund 2 is $39,000. Construction of $161,000. Food service daycare of $200. The significant bills in this one are CNC contracting for $161,100. Hogue Chrysler for $43,707, and Scott's Trailer Sales of $31,615.
That was the replacements for the Stellar.
That's correct. And right now, just to keep you up to date on it, I've gotten some of the what they're going to pay us on insurance, and I'm arguing. So I'm not happy with it. So I will continue to argue, which I like to do anyway. So
Any other discussion?
I want to get us as much money as I can.
And we want you to.
That's my job.
I'm going to make a motion to approve payment of bills and salaries. Second by Mr. Porter. All in favor of paying bills and salaries, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are down now to public participation. So we have several signed up to talk tonight. So just a FYI, you have 3 to 5 minutes to speak. You will not go over 5. We'll have the timer set, and once that 5 minutes is reached, we'll ask that the next person goes on. Just a note too, the board members will not have any interaction or questions back and forth to the ones who are speaking, just so you know. And we'll take your thoughts and your concerns into consideration whenever we take our vote on the dress code, okay? All right, and the first one on the list is Ms. Brooke Gunn.
She had to leave.
She had to leave, okay. So we'll move down now to, is it Tyler Wells?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tyler Wells. I'm here to address the issues with our dress code. Y'all have seemed to change it. We have had no issues in the past with it, and I do not see a reason to change it. This policy stands is unfair. It's restrictive, discriminatory, and fails to respect all our rights to self-expression. First of all, I understand that some people might think dress codes are necessary to maintain order, which they are. But the problem is that this one is overly vague and unfair. The dress code uses subjective terms like significant disruption and extreme dress, which leaves too much room for interpretation and biased enforcement. We've seen how this often leads to targeting girls and students who don't conform to traditional gender norms. Instead of holding clothing responsibilities for disruptions, we should focus on teaching respect and creating a positive environment. I know some might argue that dress code promotes professionalism, but we have to consider that professionalism should not come at the cost of suppressing individuality. Regulating how we present ourselves, whether it's makeup, accessories, or specific types of clothing, forces us to fit a mold that doesn't account for our unique identities. Our bodies should not be treated as distractions. They should be accepted as part of who we are. Furthermore, the dress code disproportionately affects students from different backgrounds, forcing us to change clothes or call parents during school hours, which I know most of our parents work during school hours. That's how we afford all these clothes. It disrupts our education, but also unfairly punishes us for expressing ourselves. Our school should be a place where we feel comfortable and safe, not worried about whether we have to change clothes or not. I shouldn't have to wake up every morning, whether or not, worrying if my clothes is going to fit gender norms or your dress code. I'm not saying there shouldn't be any guidelines, but they are reasonable, fair, and considered enforced. We deserve a dress code that respects individuality and promotes self-expression. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Malachi Coburn.
I do not wish to speak at this time.
Okay. And then next we have Miss Kendra Pate.
I was asked to deliver these to you guys. These are for everybody. They are from Miss Kirby and from her students. They have written letters. So those are just some of the things that her students have said that you guys can look at later. I have a few areas that I want to address specifically on the dress code for the high school and middle school. I do appreciate that you all listened to the feedback that was given prior to, and that you separated out and kind of took out sports and made a separate policy for prom and formal. That was very helpful. So a couple of things that I want to point out about our current dress code. On page 3 in lower body apparel, it says if leggings, jeggings, or yoga pants are worn, the shirt hemline must fall below the individual's bottom. We've had this at the high school before. This was a rule that we eventually changed because it was very problematic for us, especially when you have a kid wearing a shirt that does cover, but then they put on a backpack, and then their backpack, it gets pulled up. And quite honestly, our students are not distracted by the yoga pants and being able to see a girl's bottom in the yoga pants. And again, that is specifically targeting girls. The other concern I have is in the additional items, and I've pointed this out in both of the drafts. It says hoods, hats, toboggans, sock, beanie caps, or any other headwear that could cover a student's ear and conceal earbuds or headphones, thus presenting communication and or safety challenges, are not permitted. In the wording of this, we're unclear. Is it that hats are not permitted, that hoods are not permitted, that sock hats and beanies are not permitted, or is it that they're not permitted if they cover the ear? So that wording on that, we're just unsure of. Then again, loungewear, not really defined. And also, before I leave the page about the yoga pants, I think it's important to note also that we have teachers in our district, especially at the elementary level, that wear yoga pants to school, and that is part of what they wear. And I'm not advocating for you to do a teacher dress code. However, if it is professional enough for employees of the Muhlenberg County Board of Education to wear that to work, then I think it is also appropriate for our students to wear to school. In addition to that, if you would like to look at the dress code for school dances and special events, it says that shorts are not allowed unless they are worn under a skirt, and it says that t-shirts are not allowed. We have a homecoming dance that is a huge fundraiser. It raises over $1,000 for our cheer team. When students go to that dance, they are not dressed up. They go to a homecoming football game, and it's usually about 100 degrees, and the kids go in t-shirts and shorts, and then they come directly from that event and they go to the dance. And so that would be problematic there. Today we had a beautiful event. We had the Peer Buddy Prom at the high school, and what happened at the Peer Buddy Prom, it was a dance. It was what I would consider to be a dance, and while it was during school hours, we did have students wearing t-shirts. A lot of our kids from the unit were wearing t-shirts that had tuxedo shirts on them, and they were wearing sweatpants. And that is a part of their disability, that they struggle with texture, so they would not be wearing, things that were like button downs and that kind of thing. So we want to be really careful with that. And then also the punishments that you have listed in your dress code. Tracking unexcused absences while the students are in the building is very problematic, and there's not really anything in Infinite Campus for that. So the way it's worded, what happens is a student that is in violation of the dress code, they have to go to the office and they have to sit, and they have to be considered unexcused absent. When unexcused absent, the students are then given a 0 for any work that they miss. That is our school policy. So what we're ultimately doing is we're impacting their academic opportunities by locking them in the office and saying they can't come back. In addition to that, don't forget that the law also also requires that any student that has an IEP, they cannot be suspended, they cannot be in ISD, they cannot miss more than 10 days of instruction through punishment. So that is also something that you want to consider when you try to say that the punishment will be that they are in ISD or suspended. That can be very problematic and have some legal ramifications. So in addition to that, in my final 40 seconds, I would like to challenge you. I want to challenge you to invest the same amount of time, energy, and effort that we have into this dress code to address other important issues at the high school and at every school we have, such as children not learning and reading at grade level.
We didn't change anything to do with the punishments.
All right, is Jocelyn Kyle or does she mark out all the way?
Mr. Perkins said she was.
Okay. It looked partially marked. Kendall Armstrong.
Many of the things that I was actually going to say, Tyler and Kendra hit those things very, very on point. One of the things that I want to address with the dress code, or the one that you guys have proposed, is with the pre-K to 5th grade. So if we're going to exploit my 9-year-old, who is currently in 3rd grade, by allowing her to wear spaghetti straps to school, mid-thigh shorts, but yet we're going to tell my 15-year-old that she cannot, which actually she today is wearing jeans that are above the post-it note, the 3-inch post-it note. Why are her knees and shoulders a distraction? Why does that make anybody feel uncomfortable? The other thing that, as a therapist, and I do work in the mental and behavioral health, 90% of the dress code targets girls. It unfairly causes girls to experience the burden and responsibility of not being a distraction by having bodies that look a certain way. Why do the shoulders and knees of these girls make you feel uncomfortable? So many girls in the schools today are already self-conscious about their bodies, so drawing so much more attention to the issue by the way the dress code emphasizes that, especially outside the dress code, more so at the dances, it limits their self-expression, like Tyler mentioned, and limits their ability to be who they are. Enforcing a strict dress code, both on and off campus, especially with the casual dances, with not allowing boys to wear shorts, t-shirts. I know that my daughter, when in middle school, they paid for the neon t-shirts where they all got to wear and go have their neon party. So now that's not going to be acceptable with the new dress code. Many of the events, like Kendra said, with the dances, they're going to go from a football game, they're going to go from another event, and they're going to go straight to a dance. They're not going to go home and change. If you are aware of the statistics, Muhlenberg County's poverty rate is well above the national average. Right now, I think it is currently 17.8. National average is around 12%. When you add shirts and pants, $10 to $20 for a shirt that's got to be buttoned up to wear to a dance, families cannot afford that. With shirts, $10 to $40 for jeans or pants, they're just not going to be able to do that. It's something we've got to take into consideration when making the dress code. So policing our dress code, policing our students is only going to increase the negative interactions between the teachers, the staff, and the students. Therefore, that is what's going to be the distraction and the interaction of our performance.
Thank you. All right, Aiden Armstrong.
So this is going off of what my mom said. I am the sophomore vice president, and I'm going to use my voice to speak for my peers who the boys say going to homecoming dance, you can't wear shorts and t-shirts, but we can wear strapless dresses. And going off what my mom said, the poverty rate is very high in Muhlenberg County, which is basically not being able to wear t-shirts and shorts when that's all they can afford, but you're requiring formal attire. That's telling the kids who cannot afford that they cannot attend the dance, which is, again, creating a less positive interaction
connection between students and the staff. And I'm also going to use my voice from personal experience, anxiety caused by dress code. Whoops. I suffer from like very high anxiety, and I'm always in fear of being dress coded. But with this new dress code that you all are implementing or trying to, is going to cause a decrease in academic performances because of the worry and the focus on the dress code. Like, is my outfit going to be in dress code rather than is my schoolwork going to be my priority?
And then Mariah Fagan.
Good evening, board. I'm Mariah Fagan. I'm a Muhlenberg County resident. Part of my attire, I work in Todd County at the high school, where dress code is also an issue. I have 25 years in the military, where you have to wear the uniform and you have a standard of dress that you have to wear. And even in a full military uniform, males or females can still be a distraction for the opposite sex. There are still incidents when you're wearing a full uniform because they're going to do that. At the high school, teachers have to worry about interactions if they enforce frequent dress code violations. Current fad, dressing like the 80s or dirty dancing with shirts off the shoulder. I have 4 kids, 20, 14, 11, and 10. 3 boys, 1 girl. My boys, super easy to worry about. I don't have to worry about what they wear. They pass it down. They don't wear hats. Something I like to point out is you have hats, hoods, something that covers the ears as a dress code violation. So how is it counterproductive to make it a reward, which my kids will kill me, to have hat day? If it's a safety violation, to have your ears covered because of headphones, or to have your face covered from cameras, how is it one day out of a handful of months suddenly safe and okay? If I was someone who analyzed that situation as a terrorist, I would target those days. Simple as that. My kids would kill me. They love hat day. But hat day, I'm known as one of the most quotable teachers at the school. Take your hat off in the building, please. Take your hood off in the building, please. To where teachers have to worry about their interactions and relationships with students in a positive way because they're constantly having to chase after dress code violations. The current trend for shorts, where do most of our individuals shop? Walmart. You know, Pivots. Finding girls' shorts. My daughter is taller than I am, and she has really long legs. I took a picture of her this morning in her shorts, and they are sports shorts. They are definitely not within 3 inches from her knees. The military says you have to have socks that cover your ankles. Why is that? Because in the 1900s, if a woman showed her ankles, it was considered they were promiscuous. So why are we focusing on dress code violations? Yes, I'm fairly conservative, and I think a dress that shows everything God gave you is probably a little much. But it's very difficult for families to shop within these constraints. Finding shorts that are going to meet your dress code for girls in high school and in grade school is going to be a financial challenge. I don't know how many stores I had to go to even just to try to find some. The average capri pants cost way more, and on a hot day, that is a safety issue. You're going to have kids that are going to have heat exhaustion because they're trying to meet your dress code. If it's okay for the sports teams to wear volleyball wearing their little Spankies, track team wearing their short shorts, why is it a problem when they're walking around in the halls every day? Young individuals running around the high school with hormones are going to still cause, no matter what they wear, as a distraction. It is a choice. They're gonna do it. If someone can point out what I'm wearing in a uniform and make inappropriate comments, they're gonna do it no matter what the kids wear. As long as they're hiding up the essentials, I think they're okay. Our daughter loves wearing yoga pants. But tight pair of blue jeans is gonna be showing the same stuff. So something to consider. You're putting your staff in a tight spot. They're gonna be chasing after dress code violations and causing anxiety not only for students, but for your staff as well, not focusing on academics. Thank you.
That's all we have for public participation. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts with us. It's not easy to get up here and talk in front of everybody, I know, so. We'll move down now to our superintendent report. We'll turn that over to Ms. Ford.
All right, I'm gonna let Charles go first just to share construction updates.
Hello, hope everyone had a great Mother's Day, by the way. I'm just going to share real quickly, it won't keep you long. Muhlenberg Fieldhouse, the concrete slab is complete. Block walls will start going up next week. Muhlenberg first and second floor classroom renovation. The bid documents are underway, and that should start at around May the 27th, or the summer break and be completed then. Longest Elementary, kindergarten, preschool, and renovation. Contessa Bryan, Summit, Codell Construction had a meeting on the 7th to talk about proceeding further with the project. Brian Lyle will detail further in the board action items to come, and if you have any questions, then we can answer them then. All right. Thank y'all.
We also want to share, we have Josh Fleming with Codell with us, and so as we start talking about construction, if there's any questions that come up about the longest project, he's here to offer that, and then we also have John on Zoom who can chime in if there are any questions too. All right. Okay, I just wanted to take a moment during my presentation and share iReady data. So based upon the charts, the bars are showing the progress from fall to spring. And then, so kind of noting there that the 24-25, you see I've got those numbers, 45% green, which means that they are mid or above grade level, or on grade level or above, sorry. 39% yellow, which puts them at 1 grade level behind. And then 16% red, which is 2 or more grade levels behind. And so just kind of noting, the first one was mathematics, so kind of seeing the drop of our red, which we want to see, and the increase of our green, obviously, because that means we're moving our students. But I also wanted to kind of do a comparison, so taking the end of the year for the last 3 years. Keeping in mind, these aren't the same students, right? You know, we got third grade coming in, so they'll be different every year, but just kind of noting that we are slowly making progress in bringing that red down, that number, and increasing the green, which is our students on or above grade level. Same thing when you look at reading for the 24-25, beginning the fall to the spring, they moved to 52% green, 29% yellow, and 18% red. And then looking at a comparison over the last 3 years, kind of seeing again, you know, we're going from 52, well, we started at 49% in 22-23 green to 51% green to 52% green. So again, kind of seeing small moves, which is we're glad to see that. Obviously, we're going to continue to work on that and keep that going. But I know we've heard from a lot of teachers that the value
and the benefit they see in the iReady, the assessment, plus the curriculum piece that comes with it, they're seeing students move and progress. So just wanted to share that with you all, and I will share that through an email so you have that graphic as well. So then the other thing I wanted to bring you up to speed on are the Paxton Patterson Career Labs. Exciting thing today, we got them, they were shipped, middle school, you got yours? Yeah. They were delivered today here at the board office. They're downstairs in their, we got all the elementary ones, and then middle school got all of theirs. So kind of bringing you up to speed on the funding sources that we utilized for that. We were very blessed that Martin Foundation gave us $100,000 for this purpose. Perkins funds, we were able to utilize $50,000 there. Title funds, $85,000. Donations that have come in from the community, $20,295, giving us a total of $255,295. Expenses, we purchased 30 labs for the middle school, and then 6 labs for each of the elementary schools. And we have not purchased the carts yet, but we're looking for some carts for the middle school and estimating approximately $9,000 for that. And then the technology needs, there's some iPads and different things that need to be purchased in order to, especially like with the robotics and things. So the technology expense there, $2,500. So $255,435 right now are the expenses. I know that looks like we're in the red. We'll figure that part out. It's okay. Where's Eric? He's not here. We're not too far off, so we're pretty pleased with that. And feel,
What now?
I said we're in the red, but we won't tell Eric. But it is a small amount, and we're very excited. In order to kind of look ahead, thinking about the elementary schools, there are 6 more totes that could possibly be purchased for each of the elementary schools, and that's a pretty extensive cost. So we're going to continue to kind of look at some funding next year, what we can do to get those other 6 totes for each of the schools.
Do you have what that cost is?
Do, but it's on my paper in my office. I will send that to you. Because I did, Stacy and I worked on a figure, and it's on the paper in there. So I'll send that to you all so you can see what that is. Yes, okay. This identifies all of the labs and the totes that we were able to purchase. Like I said, 30 for the middle school, 6 for the elementary schools. That also incorporates professional development for our teachers, set up an assembly. So for the middle school, like they have a group that will come in and actually kind of help get the room set up and ready to go. And then it includes a 5-year online subscription. So for resources that are online that teachers and students can use with these career labs. So a lot of great things. We're excited to get it up and going the new school year and see it in action. And then when we do, we're absolutely going to invite you all as well as community members to come in and see what it looks like in action with the students doing it. So we're very excited.
It's been exciting for me at the high school seeing the teachers excited about this happening in the middle school. So they're looking forward to helping the students figure out their pathways before they get to high school.
Exactly, yeah.
It's good to see a lot of excitement going.
Even starting at the elementary level of knowing kind of what goes into health sciences and robotics and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's going to be great for our kiddos. The only other thing I have during my block of time for superintendent report is just to kind of make you all, which we've talked a little bit, but just to make you aware. I know you all have received information and know about the letter that we received at the district from the national organization called Freedom from Religion regarding FCA at the elementary schools. We have sent that letter to our board attorney, and we're working on a solution to that dilemma. And so kind of talking with her back and forth and trying to figure out what a good answer for that is. This does in no way affects FCA at the middle school and high school. The organization is considered a student-led organization, and students at the middle and high school are definitely able to kind of take that and run with it. So our dilemma and our issue and what we've got to figure out is what we can do at the elementary schools. So we are working on that, just to kind of keep you up to speed. And once we get that solution figured out, you all will definitely be the first to know.
Was that brought to our attention from someone in the county?
No, that came
From Minnesota, somewhere from Minnesota.
It's a national organization. Yeah. So yeah.
Do we have to follow them?
According to our board attorney, we've got to come up with a different solution, yes. Yes.
So no elementary school in the state has FCA?
So again, we're looking for what are the options to be able to continue that, but not have it be a school-led organization, school-led club, if that makes sense.
As a district, we can't make a decision?
You cannot. We want to make sure that whatever we do, we are legal in doing. So
no doubt there,
yeah. So we're working on it to come up with a solution. Thank you. Thanks.
We're down now to our attendance and enrollment report. Mr. Watkins. There it is. Coming from behind.
Good afternoon, Chairman, regular board members. In review of month 9 attendance and enrollment, the month started on April 21st and ends tomorrow, kind of a lot like last month where when you all got the report, we still had a few days left, and I can send you that updated report tomorrow. Our average daily attendance for month 9 was 94.17%, and our enrollment is 4,192. Our elementary leader for the month was Greenville at 95.2%, and our upper division leader was the middle school at 93.72%. So definitely good to see that attendance and enrollment rise, and this was our best month of attendance since the first month. And that wraps up my report.
My son helped a lot this month. What do you say, Ms. Kendra? Ms. Kendra, you're the morning coffee for him. Yeah, okay.
We also have a school presentation. So, Ms. Clark. Oh, okay. I was like, I don't see her. She was standing at the door. So Renaissance Center.
Good evening, Board, and thank you, Ms. Ford, for letting us talk about our school tonight. I have Ms. Carly Wells with me, who is a student at the Renaissance Center, and she's going to help me go through our presentation tonight. We'll talk about her in just a few more minutes. Just quickly, our program, we have 2 different umbrellas under the Renaissance Center. We have our Alternative Learning Center, and we also have our virtual education. So we have 2 different programs in our school. The students that we serve students that are at risk for dropping out, students that have repeated disciplinary issues with social, emotional, mental health needs, need of credit recovery, attendance issues, students that have jobs needing flexibility with their schedules or just need to care for themselves or other family members. The picture up there in the corner is actually one of our students. We do lots of activities with our students, and one of them is they made bracelets and had to choose a word. So that was just one of the bracelets that they made. Just to tell you a little bit about our staff, who we have at our school. We've got a principal. I want to thank you for our full-time guidance counselor this year. That has made a huge, huge difference. Ms. Bogus is here tonight, and I cannot say enough great things about her, how she's helped us out. We have 8 certified teachers. We have 4 core content teachers, a humanity teacher, 2 special ed teachers, and then a teacher in charge of our MOVE program. 2 instructional aides, 1 with our MOVE program, and another that I thank you for the hire to Ms. Savannah Wells, who helps in our MOVE program, and that's been a game changer for the effectiveness of our program. We have a secretary and a custodian, and that's just a few pictures of our teachers interacting with our students this year. I'm just going to kind of give you some numbers quickly. In our MOVE program, we do have 91 students in our program right now. We were able to move our middle school program over with Ms. Beth Ellis, who was in charge of our high school program. So that's been, that's a part that's kind of grown. This year, we have 24 students in the middle school program, and we've just finished up most of our classes, and they have 92 credits. And then we have 67 high school students that have completed 383 credits. Some of those have been credit recovery. We do have 30 seniors. We have 27 that are going to graduate with the 26 or more credits from the high school. We have 3 hardship graduates this year. That was a policy that was approved a couple of years ago. Those are 3 fifth-year, what we call fifth-year seniors that came back, and they applied for the hardship and they will graduate. And then we have a couple students that we're trying to drag across the finish line these last 4 days or 5 days. So our MOVE program, I will just say, is successful really because of Ms. Beth Ellis. She is amazing. She does a wonderful job. All of our students have to do everything that every graduate does in this school. They have to complete their defensive learning. They have to do their ACE requirements. So it's not just, they're just getting credits to graduate. They still do have to meet all of those requirements. So we are very proud of that program. Just quickly, our Alternative Learning Center, we started the year with 20 students. We are at 45 now, which is kind of big for us. I know that doesn't sound like very many students, but we do have 45 students. We have 26 high school students and 19 middle school students, and we have 21 students that are due to exit at the end of the school year, whether that be going back to middle school, going to high school, or graduating. So that's just some of our numbers. I'm going to let Miss Harley talk to you a little bit about her experience at the Renaissance Center. So,
I've been coming to the Renaissance Center off and on since middle school. This school has helped me in many ways, one including that there are less kids in this school, so it's easier for teachers and other adults to give each of us the individual attention we need. Another way this school has helped me is making a way for me to get caught up and even ahead after I got held back. They've also made a way for me to join the MOVE program so that I will be able to work a job since I'm ahead basically a year in my schoolwork. One last example of how the Renaissance Center has helped me is Ms. Vicki hiring me as a summer intern for SOAR.
So Harley has been with us for a little while, and she is going to be in our MOVE program next year. She's worked a lot with Miss Vicki in the SOAR program and helped a lot down there, and she's actually, like she said, going to be a summer intern down there this year. So she pretty much runs our school, not me, if you can't tell. She talked about the individual attention. This was a celebration that we did with her in conjunction with Champions of Drugs. It was her 1-year sobriety party. So we had Miss Orr actually got to come by, and we had her family and a lot of our students came down to do that. So we are very, very proud of her. I'm going to let her talk to you just real quickly kind of about what we do every day.
Okay, so every day, 4 things we try to focus on is being prepared, respectful, productive, and responsible. And then if we do them every day, at the end of the day, we have like a paper and we take it to our teachers and we get all our points. Most of us do. We should get all the points. And then like you get to level up, go just the highest level. And then every Friday we get popcorn. And if you're on, it's blue or above, then you get a pop.
We get different things, and Harley is on the gold stage right now. She is due to exit and go to our MOVE program. These are some things that we've done. I'm going to let her talk about what those are.
The first one is Taekwondo, and then we got to paint. We had a pumpkin painting contest. Miss Lacey came and done bracelets. We done like a day of like each class got to come in and we done like different games with different teachers and stuff. We got to do yoga, and Isaiah, he's graduating, he got to get in the limo. We did tie-dye.
So we do a lot of different things. Every couple of weeks we try to do some different activities just to get our students involved and get them up and talking and different things. So those are just some examples. I didn't do a very good job of taking as many pictures as I should. Honestly, our kids don't like me taking pictures. They don't like their faces attached to the Renaissance Center. We're trying to change that because we're not a bad place. So I try not to take a lot of pictures and put them out there. So that's pretty much all we've got. Just wanted to thank you for letting us present tonight and hearing about the Renaissance Center.
Thank you. Congratulations, Tyler. All right, so we're down now to what everybody's all excited about hearing about, or not, is our first reading of our revised dress code policy 09.427. So I know we appreciate all of you coming. Like I said before, we don't engage in conversation back and forth during our public participation, but this is the point in time where, with this item on the agenda, that us as board members can discuss some of your concerns that you brought forth to us. Once again, this is the first reading of our revised dress code, so if there are things that we come across that we still want to change, what we're voting on tonight is just the first reading with potential changes. So we are taking into consideration, how everyone feels and what you all brought forward to us as your concerns. So just to let you all know that. So at this time, I'll open up the floor. I know Ms. Bard and Ms. Yance, and I'm not sure, Logan, did you attend any of that? Okay. I think Ms. Yance and Ms. Bard were on the committee meetings that were held. I know with Ms. Pate, so I'm going to kind of let you explain what our changes are, because from what I see as a board member and discussions, out there on social media, that I think there's a lot of misconceptions as to what we're actually looking at changing. So I want everyone to be on the same page as to what our changes actually were compared to what the original dress code policy that we have in place as it is now. So I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Bard and kind of let her share with you all the discussions that were in the meetings to her knowledge and
go from there. Ms. Yance and Logan, please chime in as you will.
So the dress code that was posted on social media and the school board website. First of all, let me back up. It's really difficult to come and speak for yourself and stand up for yourself. And I applaud each of you students, especially that came in tonight and spoke to us directly. This is how things get changed. This is how you make a difference in your community, so I applaud you for that. We may not always agree on what we're talking about, and we don't have to. Just because I don't agree with you or you don't agree with me doesn't mean you're a bad person or I'm a bad person. So first and foremost, thank you for coming and talking to us and telling us what you think about what's happening right now. So going over to the dress code, we made 0 changes on the grades pre-K through 5th grade. We did not touch that. It was left as is. On the grades 6 through 12, the changes we made were adding the words to lower body, 3x3 post-it note. The current dress code, if I'm not mistaken, says the clothing cannot be 3 inches above the knee. Is that correct? The way it was? Or was it? Oh, that's right. Sorry, mid-thigh. Okay. And that's something that we're discussing. The reason we were talking about the post-it note is in our committee meetings, it gives parents and students something visual that you can look at. So this is a first reading. So please keep that in mind. We're here to hear you tonight, and we will take your thoughts into consideration. We didn't touch anything that had to do with hats, apparel, something you wear on your head. We didn't do anything with that. That is the dress code that's already there. Do you remember which we make any changes on that? Yeah. So that was exactly the same.
And those are under additional items. Shoes must be worn at all times, no gloves may be worn. Hoods, hats, toboggans, socks, beanies, hats, or any other other headwear that could cover a student's ears and conceal earbuds, headphones, thus presenting communication and/or safety challenges are not permitted. That's in your current dress code. We did not change that.
So can they wear the hat or they can't wear that?
If it covers their ears, they cannot wear it.
You can wear a baseball cap, but if you had a toboggan on covering your ears, you couldn't wear that.
Correct. What we did add was if leggings, jeggings, or yoga pants are worn to the lower body apparel, the hemline must fall below the individual's bottom. And that's what was added to that one. The only other thing we changed is adding the dress code for dances and special events. We're taking into consideration that there are casual dances. We'll talk about that. And thank you for coming tonight and talking about that. That's something that I wasn't aware of, that there was something before a football game or after a football game for homecoming. We're very reasonable people. You may not know that, but we are. And there are reasonable times to wear things, and there are times when things should not be worn. Just as the mother, I'm sorry, I don't know where you went. Oh, right there, thank you. You were talking about military clothing. You know, things are appropriate at certain times and things are not. So what we're doing for the students here in the room, we have noticed as a school board that since COVID, the dress code has gotten laxed. When we had our committee meetings, the people that were in the committee meeting said, which concerned us greatly, the dress code is enforced for some but not all. And it depends on who you are. That should never happen. Because as a board, we are bound by the laws and the rules that we set forth. And we are, if a teacher is to dress code you, then the teacher's supposed to dress code you every time. But I want you all to understand, we didn't make wholesale changes on this. We just added the few things that I just spoke about. So I urge you to go back and look at your current dress code that you have, and then compare it to the new one that we are adding 3 items to.
And the thing of it is really and truly the one thing that we were not really addressing casual dances. We were really addressing the winter ball is what, and that is what sparked this conversation, is several on the board have gotten comments from people about the way students were dressing for the winter ball, both middle school and high school. So I think that's where our main concerns were, is the winter formal dance. So.
And mine was, the complaints that I received were from parents and grandparents of students. I know my son graduated 2 years ago, and I got a lot of comments about what the girls wore to the senior awards day. There were several with very short dresses. I mean, very short. They couldn't even barely bend to even get their stole put on. So, that kind of sparked complaints with myself in the last couple of years, was what, you've got your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your whole family at senior awards day, and you should look professional. You shouldn't come out with your butt hanging out of a dress, for lack of a better word. So I just think professionalism is, what you would wear to church. You wouldn't go to church dressed in a mini dress, most likely. I mean, most churches would not. I know certain churches you gotta have really long, dresses, but I think it's just, it's the length of the dresses that were brought to my attention. It's not really anything else that was complained to me about personally. So I know we want all of our kids to stand out and be great, so this kind of sparked us looking at the dress code and for school functions, how everyone needs to dress. So.
Ms. Orr, I think a good point was made tonight. We should also possibly look at like a staff dress code to match the dress code we're going to implement in the high school.
I mean, we can't expect our teachers to do one thing and our students not to follow suit, or expect one thing from our students and our teachers not to do that as well. So it should be an even playing field for all.
And I will add to what you said, Stephanie. The whole reason we're here tonight and talking about this, which we should be only talking about academics and good things in the schools, but we have constituents that voted for us to be here on this board. And when the constituents are sending us photographs of students at dances, and it wasn't just the girls, it was boys taking their shirts off, boys taking their jackets off, and having only like nothing on underneath, or putting their jacket back on with no shirt, several items like that, and pictures were sent. So when we get complaints like that, we have to address that as well. So that's why we're here tonight. We good with that?
All right, so I guess at this time, is there anything that anyone wants to add to a revision on this first reading for when we approve it next month? It will be ready to go?
Well, we can talk about that as a committee.
I would put this on hold till the committee is met again and bring this first reading in June with all the changes need to be done.
Well, will that be enough time, or will we need to do another special call?
You can do a special call.
We'll have to do changes to the whatever, and then we'll have to come back and meet again for a second first reading with the changes, and then we'll have to have a second approval, which we'll finalize. But we'll probably have to do a special call meeting for that in order to get it done. So all of the handbooks and everything can be changed and to reflect for next school year. So we're going to table this. We'll make a motion to table this until our committee has met once again and discussed finalization again. We appreciate all of you all for coming and speaking and telling us what you think, because you're our kids. I mean, you all are why we're here. And it's not that we're trying to make things difficult for you all, but we want our kids in Muhlenberg County to stand out, and we don't want our kids, people from other places coming here and thinking that our kids are just able to do whatever they want and dress a certain way. And I mean, each of you have individualities, that makes you who you are. And we're not up here trying to say you have to be a certain way, but there has to be a standard, I mean, and I, as a nurse, I can't go wear certain things to the hospital to work. I have to follow a strict, policy that says I have to wear this. I can't go and wear, a sports bra and a pair of scrub pants to work just because that's how I feel like wearing that. I can't do that. So, just understand that as you are getting older and you're becoming adults and moving into, adulthood and public jobs in college and things like that, this is to help guide you all in proper presentation. You'll have job interviews, you'll have jobs yourself that you're required to dress a certain way. And, I can promise you that you're not going to get very far with an employer like you probably get in the school district right now, as far as how you feel about, the dress code and things like that. Because when you work for a place, such as I do, a hospital, they don't care what I think about the dress code. Their dress code is their dress code. So I just want to throw that out there, and you all know that, in your future, they're probably not going to care what you say, but we do. So, I mean, we take everything that you've said today into consideration. So when we get our next meeting with our teachers and the committee that, brought forth these changes, we'll go from there, and hopefully everybody will be happy with how it turns out.
Or not.
But anyway, just like what Ms. Bard said, if you can, I think that's the part of democracy. Everybody has a right to speak how they feel. And whether, you agree with us or not, that is a good, because everything is not going to happen that you're going to agree with. And And so anyway, but I do admire the students that came and talked to us tonight, because who else is going to advocate for yourself if you don't? So it's a great quality to have, is to be able to advocate. And that's part of education. You need to sometimes advocate to your teachers also. So anyway.
So I have a motion to table this till next month. I'll need a second. A second from Ms. Bard. All in favor of tabling this item, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Okay. We'll move down now to item B, and that's consider job posting for speech language therapist. Ms. Kinley.
You've been missing in action for many moons. Seriously.
Come back.
You always come back?
Yeah, 100 years. This is like our 10th board meeting
I know,
I've
I'm
seen
sorry.
you.
I'm absent.
Yeah, absent, tardy.
All right, well, good evening, and I am glad to be back to a board meeting. But I come tonight to ask you to consider the posting of an additional speech-language pathology position. In our district, we have almost 600 kids who are receiving speech or language therapy. It's not only the kids who have a speech-language impairment, but also we have rising numbers of kiddos with more significant disabilities, such as autism, mild mental disability, functional mental disability, and a speech-language pathologist is central to those students' progress. So we currently have 8 speech therapists on staff. We need 12, but we've been working with contracted services for the past 2 years in order to fill the need to the tune of $65 an hour. But we are actually in a pretty good spot, and we have a lot of interest in working in our district as far as being a speech-language pathologist. So we have had a couple positions posted to fill openings that we've had vacated for some time. But then after looking at the numbers, we do need an additional person to fill that spot. So I'm asking you tonight to consider that. Also in the decision paper, I've listed in here what the ramifications are if we don't. One, we want our kiddos' needs to be met, but our speech-language pathologists have to operate under a strict guideline of maximum caseload sizes, and they cannot go over 65 kids on their caseload. So it's not as simple as just adding to their caseload. We actually have to look at Kentucky regulations to tell us what to do.
Make a motion.
A motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of considering the job posting for the speech language therapist, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Thank you. Thank you. Item C is to approve interim contracts for the renovation of classrooms at Longest Elementary. Ms. Orr.
So you all have in your packet of materials the letter from Codell laying out the interim contracts that we are looking at. When we were here last month, we talked about that the bids for the whole project came in too high, so we're going back and making some revisions to the new part, which would be like the preschool wing. But in the meantime, we need to be able to move forward with the kindergarten classrooms to get them ready for the new school year. So these packages are the different trades that will need to be utilized, and the renovations happen for those kindergarten classrooms, putting bathrooms and storage closets for those classrooms.
What was our initial estimate for this portion of the?
So we didn't have it broken out to begin with. We had the big project. If you remember last month, we talked about came in way too high.
Is it the same company?
Do what?
Are we working with the same company who brought a $10 million bid?
So that was the whole project.
Yeah.
So yes, these are some of the same ones that did the lowest bid, and so we were able to get them to break it out. The one thing I do want to note on this, the flooring with CDI, that is not just the classroom, not just those 4 classrooms, but it's all the rest of the building. So, we started last year where they put it down the center of the building, And so this, they need to go ahead and get all the flooring ordered so that we have it, if that makes sense. And so that's a large number there, but that's because it's for the rest of the building, as well as the classrooms we're looking at. Josh, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I don't. It's extremely crucial, though, that flooring gets ordered, because if it does not get ordered, we're probably not going to get to any of your flooring in what we consider Area B, which is the center of the building, the little pink area there. The Area C, which is the far side, and then back to your gym. Since we're trying to match, we've already changed a bit, moving some stuff around to make it work out. If we delayed any longer, we're going to have to change flooring probably, because there's just no way to get it in and get everything we need to get done in time. But the contracts in front of you include everything in Area B, plus all the alternate work in Area B, and all the other alternate work in the building. So the only thing that we're not writing contracts for right now is the renovation of the main building and the new addition. Everything else we have to get done so we can get them by the end of summer so that you all can use the building at the beginning of the 2025-2026 school year.
Is the flooring in need of being replaced, or are we just changing the color, the new color scheme?
Yeah, much of the flooring is in need of repair and needing to be fixed, and so this way, I mean, you're talking about like if you replace this, but then not this, so with consistency across the building. The other piece of that, like the flooring that's there now requires waxing and stripping and that kind of thing. This new flooring doesn't require any of that. Thank you. So that alleviates, that issue and that extra cost of doing that every summer.
Any other questions about any of the work or
What's the general trades, Danko? 686.
What's the general trades?
So the general trades is going to include all your demolition, your masonry work inside. They're going to be framing. They're going to be doing, that's the big chunk of what you have going on. So the only other trades involved outside general trades there would be your mechanical, electrical, plumbing contractors. You got a painter involved. And then a few other things in there, but the biggest cost in that is going to be your mechanical, plumbing, and electrical, because we're having to change sprinkler systems, HVAC, plumbing, add lights, move some stuff around, so that's the biggest cost in there, and then demoing out and then getting their bathrooms ready to go.
So I see electrical here for 73,450. Is that the total, or there's some more electric work on general trade?
That is only in Area B. So the numbers you have are only for the Area B in pink on the screen. So yes, there's more cost included in the rest of the project. It's not in front of you now. We're currently working through value engineering options with Summit. They're going to get us updated drawings, see what we can take away from the overall picture of the building to get you guys closer to your budget number that you're looking for.
So the other thing to kind of note about the flooring, like right now, it's got the new flooring down the middle. They did not do the other hallways because, especially on this end hallway, when they started doing the renovation of the classrooms, it would have messed up that flooring. So at that time, they did not, go ahead and quote the rest of it. That's kind of what was built into this, because we knew when you start doing renovation, you would have ruined the new floor. So.
Any other questions?
Jared, is there a way to zoom in on that? So is the green the existing old longest building?
Yes, so if you look, and if I'm in someone's way, I apologize. So this is what you currently have sitting here. This will be your new addition, however, it would not look like this. You're going to lose this wing of this building. So this work and everything over here, the site work out here, this is all what we're done value engineering to save you money where we can. Still give you what you want, but maybe not so much extra or to the level that's there. Other than that, this area B, so this we're working on over the summer. This and we are doing our best to add this in there. The rest, we're still trying to work on, but that might be, we might have to come in there over a fall break or a spring break, Christmas break, work with you guys with your schedule, because you have a lot of furniture that you're gonna have to move, and it has to be completely removed. You can't just stick in the hallway, because then you risk damaging everything that we're putting in at that time. So that's gonna take more coordination now, especially with coming over budget. But we're gonna do everything we can to resequence to get that. But Area B will be done before you get back into school, which is the main priority that we got going on. I know you passed my screen so many times. I'm not used to touch screen.
Any other questions? If not, I'll need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, Mr. Porter, second by Ms. Yance. All in favor of approving the interim contracts for the renovation of the classrooms at Longus, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Down now to item E, and this is to approve the AIA contract between the Muhlenberg County Board of Education and Ronald Johnson and Associates.
Thanks, Chairman, regular board members. So this is our AIA contract so that we can begin looking at bids. This is for our high school roofing. This is the metal roof part is what we're talking about here, which is the same roofing that was there in 1990. And so we're starting to have some issues. The middle school is in the near future, but right now the biggest need is the high school. We had several leaks that are taking place. A lot of your ice breaks are no longer there. And they've got, of course, since 1990, things have improved on what that looks like. And so part of that will be a part of this once we're able to bid this out. But this is just a contract to work with Ronald Johnson and Associates to look at that roofing project. And I would recommend that we approve the AIA contract.
Motion to approve that.
I have a motion by Ms. Bard, second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of approving the contract with Ronald Johnson Associates, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we're down now to approving change order number 3 from Muhlenberg County Middle School.
So change order number 3, this kind of goes along with the same company that worked on our cafeteria. That looks fantastic. If you haven't been at the middle school, it looks great. And so what we're doing is, now that we're in one middle school, we've learned that there's some areas that we need to look at. And one is where we put the special education classroom, and we need an ADA accessible bathroom in that area. So that's one piece of this change order. The second part, as you know, we're using a lot of rooms in that classroom or in that school. And so if you remember the old business classes in the schools, those were those long classrooms. So what we looked at is, okay, can we take those long ones that we no longer need for business classrooms and make, instead of 2 classrooms, make them full? So that's what this change order includes, and I would recommend that we approve change order number 3.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're gonna have you're gonna have walls, whereas you just had separators or.
Yeah, and right now they're just wide open.
Yeah,
and
wide
so
open.
you've got 25 kids or so in those, 30 kids maybe in those rooms, where you have a lot more space. And so this would allow us, to allow them to really break up and allow more room for classes. And the walls we put in are not going to be, because I'm from Old South Middle, and the walls that you can hear the classroom next to you, we're not looking at those type of just temporary walls, because this will be something permanent. We'll have to knock some holes in the walls for the doorways and all of those types.
So you'll have an outside doorway also, okay.
So we don't get back into what we had at Old South, where you have to pass through one room to get to the other.
That's what I was wondering. I thought, okay, okay. All right.
Any other questions?
Something.
I have a motion by Ms. Yance. Second by Mr. Porter. All in favor of approving the change order number 3 for the middle school, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. We're down to item G, to consider bidding DOT physicals for the 25-26 school year.
So this is our yearly, we bring this to you every year, but Kentucky requires all school bus drivers to have annually DOT physicals, according to 702 KAR 5080. And And so this is just that yearly recommendation to do the bids for DOTs, and I would recommend that we approve that.
Motion.
A motion by Mr. Johar, and I'll second. All in favor of considering bidding the DOT physicals, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Item H, to consider the 25-26 certified evaluation plan.
So this is our 25-26, what we call the CEP, Certified Evaluation Plan, one we bring to you each year at about this time. And typically, there's not a lot of changes, except for where someone has retired and we're replacing someone for that purpose. And we have that in this year's, but we have, so one, we'll have the date change to reflect the new school year. We will have Lee Jones and Casey Mefford will be listed as new members. They'll replace people who have either changed positions or have retired. The big change this year in the CEP, due to House Bill 48, is that where in the past, our summative cycles were 3-year cycles for our tenured teachers. And House Bill 48 moved that to a 5-year cycle. So that's included. All that language has changed in our CEP. We will still be doing formative evaluations each year. We don't want a year to go by that someone's not evaluated. But as far as the summative cycle, we'll move from 3-year to a 5-year cycle. And I would recommend that the board approve the 25-26 CEP.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second by Ms. Ford. All in favor of approving considering the 25-26 CEP, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Item I is to consider early posting of a food service manager position at the Muhlenberg County High School.
All right, similar to some that we had last month, again, we have another retirement resignation that will be effective after the July 1st, which will be an August 1st retirement. And we're being asked that we allow a post position early so that we can make sure and get that person in, make sure they get their trainings in, and are ready for when our school year starts. And I would recommend that we approve the early posting for the food service manager position at the high school.
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Ford, second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of considering the early posting for the food service manager position, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Item J, to consider approving the job description for the media specialist assistant at Muhlenberg South Elementary.
If you remember last month, we tabled posting this position because we did not have the job description that we needed at that time. So this is the job description for the media specialist assistant at Muhlenberg South Elementary School. There are no funds to our general fund. This is all coming out of their funds there at the school. You've got the job description in your packet, and I would recommend that we approve the job description for the media specialist assistant at South Elementary.
So moved. A motion by Ms. Yance. Second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of approving the job description for the media specialist assistant, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And item K is to consider posting the part-time media specialist aide position at South Elementary.
So now that we have the job description, we're now ready to post this position, and that's what this action item is. And you see there all of the information as far as what this person will be doing, the responsibilities, as well as the funding that this comes through. And I would recommend that we approve the posting of the media specialist assistant at South Elementary.
Make a motion to approve. Second by Ms. Ford. All in favor of considering the posting of the part-time media specialist aide at South Elementary, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hear none. It's all for you tonight, isn't it?
It is, I'm sorry.
Item L is to award bid for Muhlenberg County Board of Education parking lot asphalt paving construction.
So, as you probably noticed as you come in the back, we had some sewage issue here at the board, and due to that, now our parking lot is in need of repair. It became a lot bigger issue than we anticipated until they got into it. So we do need to take care of our parking lot, and something that we are looking to do with this, and I think it's actually in the drawings that you have in your packet, is to extend our blacktop behind the building, because when we have trainings, nights like tonight, I'm sure people probably had to park out in the grass, and so we're going to extend that area of the parking lot as well. So I would recommend that we award the bid for the Muhlenberg County Board of Education intersection parking lot asphalt pavement.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Porter, second by Ms. Yance. All in favor of the parking lot pavement construction, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Item M is to consider approving the MOA with Madisonville Community College.
And this again is a yearly that we bring the MOA with you. This is our dual credit with Madisonville Community College, and it's being submitted for your approval. And again, I would recommend that we approve the MOA between Madisonville Community College and Middleborough County Schools for our dual credit.
Make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Bard, second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of approving the MOA with MCC, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hear none. Item N, that's to consider approving the MOA with Kentucky Community and Technical College System.
Again, very similar to the one we just approved, except this is with Kentucky Community and Technical College System for the 25-26 school year. It's being submitted for your approval, and I recommend that we approve the MOA between KCTCS and Middleborough County Schools.
So moved.
Have a motion by Ms. Yance. Second by Mr. Porter. All in favor of approving the MOA with KCTCS, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none.
Thank you.
That's it. All
Mr.
right.
Lyle shows over.
We're down to item O, and that's to consider the fiscal year 26 principals combining budget. Eric.
I'm glad it was the Brian show tonight, not me. All right, this is the principals combining budget. It's an annual thing. It basically shows their anticipated beginning balance, receipts, expenses, and ending balance for each of their local funds, their local accounts, I should say. It's an estimate.
Everybody's had a chance to review that. Any questions? If not, I need a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
A motion by Ms. Ford. Second by Mr. Porter. All in favor of considering the fiscal year 26 principals combining budgets, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Item P, to consider the annual KDE audit contract with Carr Riggs and Ingram.
Chairman Rager. This is the contract that the state requires. There has been, there is a cost increase, as you all see the explanation as provided by the auditor themselves. I will state that I don't recommend we put this out to bid, just because even as of last week, while I was at CASBO, I had the opportunity to speak with my colleagues. It is very difficult to get an auditor.
It is.
And what they do, like, we put it out to bid, and we're liable to get something back that's more than what this is. We've worked well with Carr Riggs and Ingram several years. I've given you all my explanation before, but they change junior auditors all the time, so it's different eyes looking at ours. They're very critical, and I appreciate that. And again, my thoughts on the audit is if they find something good, if they continue to find the same thing, that's when we have a problem. So, but I recommend that we continue to keep our agreement with Carr Riggs.
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Johar, second by Ms. Ford. All in favor of considering the annual audit with Carr Riggs and Ingram, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none, and we're down now to Q, and that's to approve the fiscal year 26 salary schedule.
Thank you, Chairman Rager. This year, I've gone through our financials. I've projected out 10 years, and I feel comfortable bringing 1% to you guys. It's not what I'm sure everyone would want, but it is what I feel comfortable with, and I feel financially secure with. So.
I've spent a lot of time over the last month looking at salary schedules, and I want to thank Eric and Ms. Orr for answering all my random questions and providing what questions I had. So, I've yes, I would like to make a motion, got 4 parts to it, so bear with us. So I would propose that we do a 2% raise to all team members, except team members in category 1 and 2 of the hourly pay scale. And I would make a motion that we give them a 75-cent raise. And that would take all of our positions paying, except for our co-op position, would take our salaries up to $13.24 an hour, would be our minimum pay. So that would be the 75 increase for categories 1 and 2 of the hourly wage category, and then 2% for everyone else across the board. I would also like to take the cook uniform allowance from $100 to $150. And then change job code 7301, which is the community relations specialist, from category 2 on the monthly wage category to category 3. I just feel like in now the social media era and doing the podcast, I think Carla, his roles has expanded, so I think it's justified in the additional salary that comes in category 3. And then I would also like to propose that we change job code 7765, which is the administrative secretary 2, and I would like to increase the board administration secretary stipend to $500 a month, which is more in line with our neighboring counties from my research.
So I will tell you this, I've done some analysis, just so you're aware. Current payroll, let me back up here. When I got here and we had our first issue in terms of when we decreased salaries and those things, our payroll was at $38 million. Right now, this year, projected out, we're at $36,723,657. All right. That is an increase of about $1.175 million, which is 6.5%, which is what I predicted last year. That is because it was the 5% plus the other various ones, so the weighted average was 6.5%, which is where we're trending. A 1% increase is $642,664. A 2% increase is $1,009,900. 1% plus that 75-cent increase, so that 75-cent increase is will come at a cost of $234,887, just on base on that. So that would be an increase of $897,125.80. And then the 2% plus the 75-cent increase would be $1,264,362.38. Every year thereafter, step raises are about a 0.75% increase. So then you're now doing 0.75% on a larger number, on a larger number, on a larger number. That 2% plus the 0.75 is $37,988,019. That's right where we were when I got here. So that's why I exercise caution. On top of that, I'm going to also let you know that, so in fiscal year 22, when we had COVID funds, and this is pulling out beginning balance, so I want you guys to know what the raw numbers are. The grand total of our income, our revenues were $63,766,000 roughly, all right? Fiscal year 23 was $56,743,000 because we still had COVID monies coming in, not as much. And then last year was $55,847,000, and this year, right now, we're at $49 million, and that should probably hit between 54, okay? Overall, if you took and just divided those raw numbers, that's about 70%. Salaries are 70% of those raw numbers. However, if you look at general fund, which I gave you guys in the tentative budget, that's 85%. Salaries are actually 85% because it's majority is general fund. So there's also about $2 million that are restricted funds. If we take that, if we look in and say, okay, and this, again, I don't know when this is going to happen, but I've been told by the state, and this is where I hate it, that I'm glad that it's continued to happen, where we get our TVA funds, but if that reduces, even just the $3 million, that's now we're down to about 51 million annually. That leaves about 13.2 million. When you start taking that and look at all of our items in terms of transportation, utilities, insurance, the things that are needed just to keep the doors open, that brings it down to 9.3 million. Then there's the $2 million that's restricted, so now you're down to about 7 million operating. So I'm giving you these numbers. It's still at the pleasure of the board, but I do want to let you know that these things do have impact. And like I said, when I first opened up, I would love to be able to recommend something higher, but we did give a 5% last year, and I just, for my peace of mind and knowing where we've been, that's where.
But I won't recommend.
That's where I'm at. So
I hate for teachers not to get 1%, but I would not approve 1%. It's a slap on the face today. It's a slap on the face today with 1% raise.
I understand.
Can I propose that we table this and do a work session so that we're all on the same page?
Absolutely.
But 1% is no talk. Whether it's closed session or what session, 1% is no talk. I'll stand with all the teachers and take the blame that they didn't get 1%, but I think they'll understand why they didn't get it. It's an abuse.
I feel like we need our very best people working in our schools, and we have to be able to pay the very best to have them in the school.
I'm not arguing with you, sir.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not, here everything else, construction and everything else is going up, and we are taking that under consideration, but we are not taking under consideration their livelihoods. I'd rather stop a construction piece, like he said, don't have to match the tiles, and give these people a raise to come happy to work and forget about the tile.
Can I make a motion that we table this and do a work session?
Yes.
I'm good with that.
So I have a motion to table the salary schedule and schedule a work session to discuss further on Ms. Ford. And I'll second that. So all in favor of tabling the salary schedule until a later time, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? You're done. All right, and then we're down now to the board consent agenda items, and this includes approval of the minutes of the prior board meeting, approval of shortened school day for students, Martin Hall proposed public season 25-26, bus garage surplus of Bremen Elementary items, and consideration of field trip requests. Had a chance to review those in our packets. Are there any discussion on those items? If not, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion by Ms. Yance. Second by Mr. Porter. All in favor of approving the board consent agenda items, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none, and we are down now to an adjournment. Have a motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none, and we are adjourned.